Hi there, welcome to Language in 3 Minutes. I'm Dr. PK, and today we're going to be going over the ACT English test and how you can do well. Okay, in today's episode what we're going to be doing is we're going to first go over some of the advantages of taking the ACT English test. Yes, advantages to taking the ACT English test. Secondly, what we're going to do is we're going to go over a quick lesson on some of the language skills that are required for the conventions of standard English. Lastly, what we're going to do is actually go over some specific questions and look at the rules that are required to understanding those particular questions. Now, there are some key strategies that you can do so that you can go through and answer each question and do well on them. Okay, so let's start. First advantage of the ACT English test is that it has first mover advantage. What does that mean? In every single ACT test that I've had to proctor, the English one was the first one you had to take. So yes, oh my gosh, that test is draining and it's tiring, but guess what? You take the ACT English one first. So first mover advantage. Secondly, what happens is, when you think about it, there are 45 minutes for 75 questions, and you spend about 36 seconds on each question. Now that sounds like it goes pretty fast, and it actually does, but once kids practice it, and if you practice through the series of videos here, what you're going to discover is that actually you can keep up with the pace. Because when you look at some of the questions on the ACT English, some of the answers that you look at are a lot shorter than when you see in the other sections of the ACT. For example, when you look at the ACT reading, the answers themselves are super duper long and they're hard to do. They're like, you have to read the passage, then you have to read the questions, and then the answers are super long. Whereas in the ACT English, the answers are pretty short. In some cases, you can actually just figure out, by not even having to read the section or the question, you can actually figure out what the right answer is looking at the answer choices that are possible. Another advantage of the ACT English is that despite the fact that it goes really fast, half of the questions, 51 to 56% of the questions, deal with conventions of standard English. Well, what does that mean, conventions of standard English? What it really means is that it has some basic grammar rules. And once you learn some of the basic grammar rules that we'll be covering, once you learn some of those basic grammar rules, you'll actually be able to say, okay, this is the right answer, this is the wrong answer. Oh, this one is possible, this one is definitely not right. And so once you learn some of the conventions of standard English and some of the rules that we're going to teach you, you'll be able to go through your choices fairly quickly. Okay, so half the test is based on understanding these grammar rules, right? 51 to 56% of it are grammar rules. But what's cool is actually the other half of the test is really based on production of writing and knowledge of language. And both those things don't require specific rules. And you can actually kind of interpret or get a feel for what would be the correct answer just by simply looking at the test itself. Here's what I mean. So about 29 to 32% of the test is based on production of writing questions. Those are questions where you have to interpret whether a sentence makes sense here or whether certain word choices work well or not. A lot of times production of writing questions and the knowledge of language questions deal with being more concise with your writing, right? So the knowledge of language questions, which make up about 13%, 13 to 19% of the test, those questions deal with like whether you can be more concise with your writing. And what does concise mean? It just means being shorter, like choosing the shorter answer sometimes is the best choice for some of the answers. So when you're in doubt, what I would do is choose the shorter response. All right, now let's try it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put up some questions and I'm going to be quiet, which is hard for me. I'm going to be quiet and you're going to go over these questions and see if you can come up with the answers in the 36-second time frame. All right, how'd you do on that one? All right, in the end, if you follow the process, you should probably be able to do well. This has been Language in 3 Minutes. I'm Dr. PK, and we hope that you like and subscribe to our videos. And what I would suggest you do is actually share this out with your friends. Let them know some of the secrets. Help them do well on that test. I'm Dr. PK, and your world has been lit.